All right. So, have you ever found yourself thinking, you know, I probably need a website, but I'm not even sure, now if it's time for me to do that? Or maybe you already have a website, but you don't really, you know, it's been a while since you've looked at it, right? And you don't feel like, confident sending it to people. If that's you, this training is for you tonight. So if you're coming in, you can say hello in the comments. Let me know you're here. And if you have questions, you can post them in the comments. Just make sure that it's showing live. Looks like it is. Hopefully, I'll see the comments. I don't always see them, but still post them, and then I will respond afterwards if I don't see them while we're live. So this is something, I hear a lot. One of the many things that I hear a lot um, from female coaches and service-based business owners. So you're growing your business, you're showing up, you're talking about what you do, you're, and doing all the things. But when it comes to your website, it's either you don't have one yet, or it doesn't, you have one and it's not doing anything. So there are three signs that I'm going to share with you tonight about, to know when it's, that time you should have to get a website or it's time for an update. So the first thing I'm going to share with you is you don't have a clear place to send people. So like I kind of mentioned, one of the biggest signs is when you don't really have a clear place to send people when they ask about your services, right? So maybe you're sending voice notes, DMs, and trying to explain everything in messages. And those are great things. Those are great tools to have also. But, having a website too is another way to be able to share it. And while that, it works for a while, it can start to feel scattered sometimes. So a website just gives you, it's like your online storefront, right? And it just gives you like a main place to share what you do, and so people can go to it and kind of look at it and see what you do. And so it gives you that clear place where people can go and they can understand more about what you do and about you and how you can help them. And so that's one of the biggest things. And then the second thing is you feel hesitant sharing your current website. And so this has to do with like maybe you already have one, but there's that sign. It's when you don't feel confident sharing the website that you have. So maybe it's outdated. Maybe it's been like years since you even looked at it or glanced at it and used it. And maybe it doesn't reflect like, maybe you've changed your services. And so your website doesn't currently showcase the services that you provide. And so that could be another reason why, it's not showing what you do. And so it doesn't, and it's, so instead of using it, sharing with others, it's just kind of avoiding it and not using it. And so then it's just sitting there and it's, the updates are piling up on it and all these things. And so it's, you're not using it and it just sits there. And then the third thing is you're growing, but your online presence hasn't caught up. So this is the third sign your business has grown, but your online presence hasn't caught up with it. So you've evolved, you've been doing this for years. Your offers have changed, but your website hasn't. And so that's another one to, you know, that it's time for those things. So if you've been wondering, is it time for me to create a website or update the one I have? It's usually not about, perfectly ready because, you know, we're not, that's not always a thing, being perfectly ready. It's about, recognizing when your business has reached, that point where, you need something more clear and supportive in place. And while there's many tools out there, a website is just another one of those tools, right? That's going to help you and it's going to guide you in and bringing those additional clients, reaching those clients that you work with that may not find you on social, because there's some people out there that don't use social, right? And so this is just another way connecting with those that that are looking for your services and for them to find them. So um here are the three main things. You don't have a clear place to send people. That's kind of that. You're using social, which those are great tools, and messaging people and connecting with people, but you need another way, right? Another way to branch out is just another one of those tools that you need. You feel hesitant sharing your current website, and so you don't feel comfortable about sharing the website you have, or you feel weird because you don't have one yet. And then the last thing is you're growing. You've evolved. You've been doing this for years, your business for years, but your online presence isn't caught up. And so those are just three of the things that I wanted to share. And so, those are some things to think about when trying to figure out if you're ready. And so if you've been thinking about it, then you're ready. I always like to say, thinking of it as your website as another tool to use for you to bring in to reach those clients that you may not otherwise reach, right? With social. So those are some things to think about. And so if you've been thinking about, creating a website for your business, or you already have one and it feels unfinished or unclear, the next step is, it's usually to getting clarity about your website and what it actually needs. Because once that, you're clear about the foundation for your website, the website itself becomes much easier to create, right? And so that's exactly what I help clients with inside my website done in a weekend service. And so during the process, I, take all that you've created, your clarity, the foundation of your business, and I bring those things together to create your website that reflects you, and that's for you, and it's done for you. So if this is something you've been thinking about, or you just need to talk because you're not really sure if you're at that spot yet, let's chat. Book a free call so you can comment weekend in the comments, and let's just chat and see where you're at, if you're there, and if this service that I offer is the right fit for you. And I will comment weekend, and I'll get you the link, and you can book that call and we can chat. So if you have questions about anything that was shared, feel free to post it on the replay. If you're watching the replay, comment replay, say hello, post your questions, and I will reach back out to answer them. All right, I will see you next week.